Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name is Matt.
My name is Dylan, and we are back again with everyone's favorite game of the week, Draft Time. And you know what? I finally got into the W column after taking so many L's, and I feel really good about taking the W for the Fincher Kino movies because we're doing some adaptation of young adult books and the movies this week, and I think there's a clear number one pick. So I'm happy I have this top choice here.
I'm curious what your number one pick is then. But yeah, I'm shocked at how close it was last week. I thought that you should have been a runaway winner, but it was like 53-47 by the end. It was like separated by just a few votes. Shocked me because like you had Fight Club and Seven and Zodiac. Like, damn.
Yeah,
How
really
is it close?
Who really knows? Sometimes the votes in those don't make any sense at all to me. But before I unleash this number one overall pick, if you are new here, consider subscribing, dropping a like. We do this stuff each and every week, as well as talk movie news, Oscar news, and even some music news coming out here soon on the channel. But number one overall, there's a lot of choices here. Obviously, this movie is not the best movie on the list. That would be maybe a Harry Potter movie, maybe something else. But within this franchise, because I guess to drop one rule here is we can only take one movie, each of us, from a specific franchise, and this franchise has a clear cut one good movie, and the rest of them are buns, and that is Hunger Games, and I am taking Catching Fire.
Wow. I would disagree with you that the rest of the Hunger Games are not good because I think that the first one is actually better than that one on a personal level.
I do not at all. I think the first one has some horrible handheld action, really bad editing, but the second one is everything I wanted these movies to be. I haven't seen the new one yet, so who knows? Maybe I'll think The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes would be my eventual favorite of the franchise, but at the moment, Catching Fire is by far my favorite here. As I said, it's not the best movie on the board, but I want the only good Hunger movies in my opinion.
Yeah, Catching Fire is great. I think both that and the first one are 10 out of 10s for me. So I mean, that's a good first overall pick. But instead, I think I just, I'm going to have to go for, if we're talking young adult fiction, if we're talking about adaptations of young adult books, the clear number one is not Hunger Games. The king of the YA fiction adaptations is Harry Potter. And for that, I'm going to have to take the third Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. If Cuarón is on the board, what do? You got to take Cuarón, right, man? Like he's right there. Yeah, so I love this film. I think this is the best in the Harry Potter series. It is gorgeously crafted, and it took the first two movies directed by Chris Columbus, which were good films, but overall they were kids movies, and it turned it into this larger world. Instead of being on very clear studio sets, it felt like everything was built. It felt like we were actually in Hogwarts instead of just like a collection of standing sets. I love The Prisoner of Azkaban. It was my least favorite book back when I read the books, like when I was a child, but it's my favorite movie by far. It's a masterpiece.
I don't disagree with that at all. I just think Harry Potter has so many great movies that getting number two is not the end of the world here for Potter, where I think with Hunger Games, getting number two is not even really worth having on your roster.
Well, fair enough. And honestly, that's a solid draft strategy. But for my next pick, I have to take one that I don't even know if you've seen. So maybe I'm taking this way too early. But on the off chance that you have seen it, I have to snag it now. And that's Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Was that on your list?
That is my number one. I just assumed that it would make it to the second round.
Oh, well then, I strategized well because I had another one that I was like, Dylan might not take this, but yeah. So Me and Earl and the Dying Girl is, I think, maybe the best YA novel adaptation that's ever been made. Maybe I'm saying that because, we're cinephiles here. We like movies. We like the Criterion Collection. And Me and Earl and the Dying Girl is essentially The Fault in Our Stars for people that have a Criterion Channel subscription. This movie is so great. It melts my heart. It is an infinite improvement on the source material novel that it came from. Everything about this movie is flawless in my mind. So Yeah, I love Me and Earl the Dying Girl. Great soundtrack too. Shout out Brian Eno, just using all of his classic songs. I'm so glad I got this one because I would have been really sad if I left it thinking you hadn't seen it and then you took it.
Yeah, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl is one of my favorite movies of the year it came out, and that's one of the movies that really got me into movies. So I'm a little sad not to have it here on the roster, but
I'm sorry.
I didn't feel like it would be a very good 1-1 because I don't think a lot of people have seen the movie. Just the people who have know that it is very good. So
If
with
you know, you
my
know.
So with my 2-1, I'm gonna go with a movie that's a little bit of a mix between something I really like, I know a lot of other people like, and that is The Hate U Give. I think this very much elevates the source material when it's bringing it to the screen. It's impactful as well as being entertaining throughout and having a lot of great performances. And to pair with that, there's a few options here, but I don't really have any comedies on my list, so I feel like I should take one here. Anne Hathaway has a very interesting discography of films, but The Princess Diaries is one I very much enjoy and think a lot of other people enjoy as well. And like I said, there's not many comedies in this section. Most of the movies here are kind of where it's like romance and also death, or action and death, or dystopian futures and death. Princess Diaries is not much death. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're right there. It's a fun, cute movie. So a good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, I feel good about my team so far. I'm sad about not having me and Earl, but I can wait on my second Potter movie and build up a better roster, and then slide that Potter movie in round 5.
That's how I'm feeling as well with the Hunger Games. I'm like, do I need to take it now? Should I wait? What do I feel? I don't know. So for my next pick, I think I'm going to take something that might not be at the very top of my list, but it's pretty close. This would be my 8th seeded pick here. It would be my 8th favorite in the genre, but it's one that I do think is a classic, and I think will give my team some boost. And that's The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This film is not as good as the book. Unlike Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, which is such a huge improvement on the source material, The Perks of Being a Wallflower is just, it's a good adaptation. It doesn't really improve. I'd still recommend reading the book if you've seen the movie, whereas with Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, if you've seen the movie, you've seen the best version of it. Perks of Being a Wallflower is really, really special though, and I think it's one of those books that really inspired the rest of the genre. You don't get John Green, you don't get The Fault in Our Stars, you don't get any of those sort of sappy high school romances without Perks of Being a Wallflower. A great coming of age story, and yeah, I mean, you get Ezra Miller giving a very good performance in this, despite who Ezra Miller kind of turned into. Emma Watson is great. Logan Lerman also killing it. It's a great ensemble. And it's a movie that I defy you not to cry during. So Perks of Being a Wallflower, feel like that is a classic, an easy add to the roster. And now I think I gotta take Little Women, 2019 Greta Gerwig. I mean, if we're talking the godfather of the YA fiction genre, then Little Women is really up there. I mean, Louisa May Alcott as an author kind of created this genre. Books that took their readers seriously. They weren't kids' books. Saoirse Ronan just killing it. And more than that, Florence Pugh, the best Amy that there ever has been.
Perks of Being a Wallflower was my alternative Princess Diaries. Like, which one should I go here? I think I personally enjoy Princess Diaries a little bit more, but I think more people probably like Wallflower more. Little Women, good pick. Not my favorite movie, but it's very deserving of being on this list. So now I have 2 picks here. I have an open slot, and then I have my Potter slot. So going with my open slot first, there's 3 movies I'm really looking at, and I don't think you're taking any of these because you're going to take Hunger Games for your last overall pick. There's Maze Runner, there's 5 Feet Apart, both fun movies, but they don't really stay with you much after watching it. The one that I am picking here does stay with you after watching, and that is Love, Simon. I think it kind of flips the script of what you're used to with just having it from a different person's perspective. And I think it's very engaging, it's very funny, it's very heartwarming, and it's one that I think you can kind of show anyone, and then they'll come out feeling good and enjoying what they just watched. And to pair with that, I will finally take a Harry Potter movie, and I'm going to take what is my favorite Harry Potter movie, and that is The Goblet of Fire. I think this has the most entertaining plot throughout. It's very engaging. It has some very great action. You got Robert Pattinson in this movie. Our leading 3 students all have one of their most fun and interesting adventures throughout. Is this the best movie of the bunch? No, but it is my personal favorite by a pretty far. I'd probably put Azkaban at number 2. But getting it this late, I think is worth it over taking Azkaban, where I had to do it at 1-1.
Wow. Wow. I'm shocked that Goblet of Fire is your favorite of the bunch, man. What can I say? I'm shocked.
I mean, I don't know why. Almost everyone I know also picks Goblet of Fire. They're a bunch of maybe it's just my
Really?
surrounding people perspective.
No,
Most people I know
I
would say this is.
see when I was a kid, it was my favorite book. But it's always been my least favorite movie. I think the filmmaking quality is just such a step down. But the Triwizard Tournament is the coolest fucking thing. And as a kid, like I thought that was the coolest idea. And seeing them prepare for the challenges through the book was fantastic. Yeah, I have a big question mark ahead of me for this final pick. Do I take the Hunger Games, which is just laid out for me right here, or do I take Martin Scorsese's Hugo, which has lost me so many drafts in the past? I always take Hugo, and people always go, Hugo's so fucking mid. And I go, what? It's not. It's good. I like Hugo. Let me take Hugo. But it never works out for me. It never works out for me. So instead of trying that again, I'm going to take another movie that probably won't work out for me, because people also say that the first Hunger Games is mid, and they're wrong. They are wrong. They are wrong, wrong, wrong. It is so good. While Catching Fire might have better filmmaking in pretty much every single way, I just think the story of the first Hunger Games is better. The characters are more compelling. Jennifer Lawrence gives an even better performance. And just the world building, the setting up of the capital, of the districts is so unparalleled here in any of the other films that I got to take it. So yeah, give me the first Hunger Games movie. It's not that shaky. Come on, it's not that shaky. Watch any documentary, watch a Paul Greengrass movie. I defy you to watch Captain Phillips and then tell me that The Hunger Games is too shaky, Cam.
Well, I don't like Paul Greengrass movies, so
Hey, you're exempt then. You're fine.
Well, with that being said, we have an interesting bunch of movies here for a young adult book to film adaptations. Cast your vote over in the YouTube community tab. You can take this with the team that you think has the best lineup, the team that has the best movie. Some people even vote for the team that has the worst movies. Like, not pick them. But to remind you of our rosters, I have Hunger Games, Catching Fire, The Hate U Give, The Princess Diaries, Love, Simon, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
And on the other hand, I took Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, following that up with Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Then The Perks of Being a Wallflower, the 2019 Greta Gerwig Little Women, and finished off my team with The Hunger Games. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Like Dylan said, go make your vote heard. Vote, vote, vote. And as always, my name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and this is Fantasy Filmball.